Westlake Polymers 60249. Rail car built by ACF. And when they were in the transition phase, it's actually co-branded ACF and ARI on the same car. With ACF on that first logo, ARI here on the other side. It's just the same way. They have ACF and ARI lettering. Still in its original paint from 1997. So very early on in ARI building the ACF cars, instead of just all being built in Huntington. Relined 2017. I don't know if you can make out the color difference, but when they relined it, they repainted in just a little circle around. There's a lighter gray, and you can see the rustiness in the gray as you get further away. They just patched just enough to show that it was relined. Really interesting way they did that. Also, I showed that plate C marker down there was in black, and that's a sticker. It was basically put on there because graffiti covered the plate C marking on the side of the car. So they had to put one that a different sticker on it. And we'll go ahead and walk around the other side. Whatever graffiti was on here is pretty sun faded. Been on here a good number of years itself. We'll show that co-branding. First, WLPX60249. My pinch in. I'm as wide as I can go. I'm close to the car. Load limit 220-200 at some point was increased from 197-200, I think is what that says. I can kind of make the raise of the letters below it, and that looks like that's a 9, and that has a line across the top like the number 7 would. So it was increased to be a heavier weight car. Anyhow, ACF center flow, and then ARI marking there. And here too, and you might be able to make it out better, the color differentiation. When they relined it, they've got that sort of circular patch of paint. You can see the build date is just about burnt out by the sun. This is rusty for a plastic car. Plastic cars usually are better taken care of than most other covered hopper cars. So this is Westlake Polymers. They are a plastics company, but this is one of their older cars. This is a 1606 1294 size, which are getting to be less common in plastic cars. If I see ACF and ARI cars today, it's either usually 1759, 1353, or now they even have these 1781, 1349 cars. So they get a few more cubic feet in them. This was a real popular size in I think even in the 80s, really, the 1606 1294. And when I say 1606 1294, it's 1606 cubic feet on the end compartment and 1294 feet on the center compartment. And that's real common pattern in covered hopper cars, because you think about it, in the covered hopper cars you have the two hoppers meet. You have a seam, right? Well, on the outside compartments, the ones that go to the ends of the train, obviously you don't have that point where you have to stop because you're running the next compartment. You continue out to the end of the car. And so the end compartments on covered hopper cars are bigger than the center compartments in cubic feet. So it'll have a number on it that says the total cubic feet somewhere. In this case, 5,800 cubic feet. Where is it? I saw it on the other side. It may be just about faded out over here. Something was patched here. That's an old paint. That's the former liner So when they relined it, they covered up where it talked about the date of the original liner painting. I'm going to go take this around just the other side one more time to show you somewhere that's going to say 5,800 feet on here. There's the ACF brake diagram. We see cars with a cast brake diagram, at least the ones that I see in plastics industry use. It's an older NSC, that's National Steel car. Here's the cubic feet. 5,800 cubic feet. National Steel car, sometimes they use cast plates. So most cars, they have a plate like that. But on the older NSC cars, and that NSC, it says national, but it's the nation is Canada. So you'll see, if you ever see an NSC emblem, that they have a maple leaf emblem. But it'll be cast with raised lines for each of the brake lines cast into it. So even if I guess the idea is even if the lettering wore out or got washed out in the sun, you'd still be able to see how the brake lines are laid out. But this is a more typical. And even on the NSC cars that are newer, like I'm not sure when they stopped doing the cast, but if it was built in the past 10 years, certainly it's going to be on a plate more similar to this. And not all the manufacturers put their names on their plates. Like, I don't think Trinity puts their name like ACF did and ARI does for their patent. This is ACF patent, I think is what that PATT is for. So you can't always tell who the manufacturer is by looking at the brake diagram. Anyhow, just thought I'd share that little bit while I was thinking about this rail car. Post it up for other people who are interested in rail cars, especially covered hopper cars used in the plastics industry. Like I said, they don't typically get quite this grungy. They repaint plastics cars more often than this usually. I wouldn't be surprised if this one gets repainted soon.